Do you want to make handmade Christmas cards? That is exactly what we're doing today. We are going to make some darling Christmas cards with our Cricut Joy and Cutaway cards. If you are new here, you are crafting with Kim Byers. Let's go. Okay, so here we are on the craft table, and in front of us today we have the Cutaway card kits. These are by Cricut. I have a Cricut Joy, I have papers, I have Cricut Joy pens and weeding tools, and I have my glass mat. I'll be honest with you guys, I love my glass mat, especially working with paper crafts and anything sticky. Okay, and anything paint. It really just protects your work surface, and it has a great ruler underneath as well. So the thing is I'm gonna show you how to use the cutaway cards today, but I'm also gonna jazz it up a little bit, and I'm gonna show you how to create your own inserts for the cutaway cards. So if you want to do something out of the ordinary, for instance, this card was made with the cutaway card itself, and then I just changed out the insert for a really, fun and festive card. So I'm going to show you guys how to do that. So let's go ahead and pop over into Cricut Design Space for a moment, and I'll show you the cards that we're going to make, and then we'll come back over and get crafty. Okay, so here we are in Cricut Design Space, and this is the card that I want to start with. This is the card I want to show you first. This is a cutaway card. So if you go into images within Cricut Design Space and you search for cutaway Christmas cards, this is going to be one of many that shows up for you. So we're going to go into images, we're going to search for cutaway cards. Let's go ahead and make that Christmas. Here we go. So these are cutaway cards. How stinking cute is that for one? Like, I love this with a little nutcracker in the gifts, but there's tons of different choices. And so you see these are square cards. So what I did is I chose a square card. And so if we hop down just a little bit further, look how, seriously guys, these are so adorable. So I chose this one. We're gonna bring that into the canvas. And so when you look at that, right? Okay, wow, it's a square. Guess what I don't have? I don't have any square insert cards. So we are going to modify this a little bit so that it can be, it can work for the card kits that I have. So I have the 4 1/4 by 5.5, and so what I want to do is I am going to add to this card so that I can then make it fill up, the card blank that I have. So if you look over here at this, and this is the one that I've modified, I love to use templates. So if anyone ever crafts with me, I like to know what it's going to look like when it comes out. I don't want to waste my materials. I don't want to waste my time. So what I did is I just went into shapes, and I grab a shape, and so I bring that in, and I know what size my paper is, right? We just said it was 4.25, and then I'm going to unlock this because I want this to be 5.5. And so this is the size of my card. Let me just make sure I got that. Yep, I do. And so I'm going to place that over the design. And now I'm going to go up into Arrange, and I'm going to send it to the back. Now what I want to do is I'm going to choose to change that background color to whatever card I chose. So for me, I chose a really light blush pink card. So this is what it looks like. And so I know now, okay, great. So that square card is going to fill it up. Fantastic, except it's not going to do anything here on the bottom. You know what? That actually works perfectly because now I can personalize my card. And so at first I was like bummed that my card, the one I wanted to do was so much smaller than the card kit that I had available. And here's the other thing. If I had not done this, added this Merry Christmas and Love the Byers, I could have used my paper trimmer and cut it off. So I could have created my card and then just used my paper trimmer and hacked off the bottom of that. So don't be limited by the materials you have on hand. You can also create your own card kits, and we'll talk about that a bit too. But what we want to do today is we want to go in and use the text feature. And what I want to do is I want to go up into my fonts and choose a font that works for me, but make sure that you've gone over into filters and you've selected the writing font. Because if you don't do that, guys, then the font that you choose, say it looks so cute right here, but then it's going to be an outline of that font when you actually go to write it. Or it's going to come in as a cut file, which is even worse. And so I'm just saying, go in, first of all, do your filters, click writing. So we're going to go back over to this. And let's see right here, I can show you. So this is Merry Christmas, and it's called Alyssa Stencil Script. So if you want to use the exact one that I used, that's it. And then if you look at the Love the Buyers, that is actually called a Christmas stocking. How perfect is that, right? Okay, so now that we have the text, and you just, click in the box and type anything you want. And so now once you have your text in place, the next thing you want to do, so we're still looking at this over here, right? We want to go up and make sure that we have the right pen colors. And one of the reasons that I know people say, well, you can just change the pen as you want to, you don't have to put the green pen in, you can put whatever you want. But this gives you an opportunity to really see what that card is going to look like, and Cricut, thank goodness, is actually showing you a pretty good depiction of how fat that font's going to be. So if you look over here, you see my little confetti, but if you click on this, right, which is the confetti, and I go up into the pen function, and it's going to tell me that I've selected glitter gel. So that's a 0.8 millimeter thick pen. But if I click on the snow globe, so let's click off, and I click on the snow globe, and I go into pen, that's telling me it's a fine point, a 0.4 millimeter. So whenever you choose your pen, so you can see that the green is much thinner than the pink, right? So you can see that here too in the Merry Christmas and the Love the Buyers. So, and then if I chose a marker, it would be even thicker. You just have to be careful that you don't choose something so thick that then as it writes over itself. So for instance, these little bitty hash marks, which is really supposed to be like snow, if I chose the marker, that might actually be so fat that it would all run together. And candidly, it's probably best if that's even the 0.4. That's the way it was designed. If you stick with the way they designed it, you know that it's going to work well. But I'm a rebel, and so I'm going to go to the 0.8, and I've just accepted that if those little things there run together for the snow, I'm okay with that. Okay, so let's go ahead, and I'm just going to take this and delete this. 3 more quick things before we head over to the card mat. So we are going to click on our card, and so you'll see here in the panel this blue. Now that is just me turning that color blue. That is actually going to be a cut because that's the insert color that I chose. And so that blue is going to be the paper that we work with. And then the next thing is because I'm not going to actually cut my template, I just wanted to see what this card would look like on a pink card. We're going to turn that off over in panel. And then the final thing is you want to grab that entire design, so your Merry Christmas, your signature, and the card, and you want to make sure that it is attached. So I've already attached it, but you just want to make sure that you attach these 3 things so that when they go over to the card mat, they're all together. Okay, so now let's hit Make It. So we're going to choose On the Card Mat and confirm. And so now we get to see what this looks like on the card mat, but remember we are cutting this as a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 card, and so the card mat is showing 4 1/2 by 6.25, so we just want to click on that and shift that up a little bit, and then I personally recommend that you shift it just slightly closer to the edge. Because what I find is when you put these folded cards over, they're not always exactly perfect. And so sometimes the, writing and the cuts and things can kind of run to the edge. And so I like to just shift them over just barely to the left so that they are firmly on the card. Okay, and so now we can hit continue. So you just want to make sure that your Cricut Joy is connected. And now you get to choose your base material. So what we're going to choose for this is the cutaway card with the backer. If you don't see that on your favorites list, if you've never used these before, you're going to go into Browse All Materials and then type that in and choose that option. Since I have it, we're going to select that. And now the machine is going to tell us that we have to start with our pens. Now when you write on something and when you cut on something, you will always use your pen first. So we're going to first put our 0.8 pink pen into the clamp, and then it's going to tell us that the light green pen comes next, and then the glitter pen comes last, and then finally we will cut it with the fine point blade. So it's going to tell you which pens to put in, you know, as you go through that process so you don't mess anything up. Okay, so let's go ahead and pop back over to the craft table. Okay, so here we are back on the craft table, and I want to go in depth in the cutaway cards and show you all about those, but I realized when I was looking at my table that I left off one of the most important things that you're going to need, which is your Cricut Joy Card Mat. And so this is a brand new one that I actually haven't even opened yet, and we're going to use my older one because there's nothing wrong with it yet. But basically it has this little sleeve on it, and so you're going to be able to insert your card into that sleeve and then fold it over, and this is slightly tacky, so it's going to hold your card down. So let's go ahead and move things out of the way. By the way, these are the inserts that I cut down from larger craft paper that I want to use with this particular snow globe card today. And so the way that you would do that, and I cut these down too, these were just, you know, items that I created. This is one of my favorites with all the stripes and the polka dots. I love this. I got this from Hobby Lobby. So it's the Paper Studio brand, which is the Hobby Lobby brand. So I'm gonna move those out of the way just for a second. And so this just has a ton of beautiful, simple patterns in it. And what you'll do is you'll take your straight edge cutter. So this is a Cricut cutter, and I love it because it has a ruler on both sides. But basically, you're just going to mimic what's in the cutaway card kit. And so if you open these up, I'll show you really quick. If you open these up, so what you're going to find inside are envelopes, and you're going to find cards. So like, and then when you flip it over real quick. So these cards, the cutaway cards, have a sticker paper basically on the inside of it. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut out our card, and that sticker paper is going to be replaced by your insert. So this particular set, which we are using, is called the Corsage. Pretty sure, yes, the Corsage Sampler. And so it comes with these inserts, and these are adorable. I love them. They're beautiful, but they're not what I want for today. So there's a pink, which is actually, it's very close to my shirt. And then there's a green. I thought these would be beautiful for Christmas, but I wanted to do this pink one. And so there were 2 pink cards, and then 3 of this darker fuchsia, and then 3 of the hunter green. And so what I'm going to do is use this as a sample piece. And so if I bring back my cutter, I'm going to be able to just put it on the cutter and see exactly how large it is, or I could even lay my paper underneath it and use this as a template and cut it out. It's also written on your card kit sample. It's going to tell you the exact dimensions of your inserts. So what you want to do is cut down your paper to match, and I've already done that. Let's move this out of the way. And so then you'll take your card, move the wrong one out of the way. So then we'll take our card, and this was the last pink one in that set. And so we're going to set that off to the side. And I'm actually going to do something a little bit different. I'm going to use a sheer paper over a raised dot blue. Now the raised dot blue is really cute. If you look back at the design, it also has small little dots that you leave in when you weed it out. And I've done this card, and I'll be honest with you, those dots were so small it was a little difficult. You could do it, but I thought instead, because I had this paper on hand, I'm actually going to overlay it so it looks like it's snowing on the blue. How cute is that? And that is the thing I love about cards, guys. You can make these as personal as you want to, just the way we put our name on it. I'm going to use these inserts, and that's just, I think it's going to turn out really, really fun. So what you want to do is you want to take your insert, whether that's 1 sheet or 2, and today I'm going to start with this one. And you're going to open up that card, and so this is your tacky sheet. So you're going to grab it at the corner, you're going to pull that insert piece off. Okay, so we're going to set that aside, and now this is sticky. So what we want to do is we want to take our insert sheet, and again, typically you would just have maybe 1 piece, but for this I have 2, and then we're going to turn that over, and I would personally start in this corner. Okay, so now that I have that the way that I want it, bring back my card mat, and I'm going to pick up that interior piece, slide it all the way over. You can see the line here, and we're 4.25 by 5.5. And then we're going to close that and just make sure that you've, worked it over so that it's sticky and tacky. And now the next thing we want to do is place that into our Cricut Joy. Okay, so I have all 3 of my pins ready to go. I have my card on my card mat, so we just want to feed that into the Cricut Joy. And the first thing we want to do is we want to remove the blade and put in our first pin. So we'll set our blade to the side and we'll start with our pink, and just follow the instructions on your desktop or your app as to which ones to use when. Okay, so just a really quick pause in making our Christmas card. If you're having fun and you want to do more of this type of thing, so maybe you want to work with markers, we want to try out the foil kit, work with the insert card kits, you want to make glitter cards, work with the pins, embellishments, maybe even address your envelopes and write on the inside of your card with your Cricut Joy, hop down in the comments and let me know that you're interested in that, and we will turn this into a series and we'll do all of these things over the next couple of weeks. Okay, let's get back to making our snow globe. Okay, and so our card is done. So I'm going to move the Cricut Joy back and just let's go ahead and take our card off of our card mat. So we'll just bend our mat a little bit. It'll pop right up. And then we'll pull that away. And now what we want to do is we want to take off the areas that we cut out. And so you can use your weeding tool to do this. Okay, so we'll just grab, you may even be able to do it with your hand. And because my paper is a little bit thinner, I am just going to be really, really gentle. But I'm really excited about how this is going to look. Oh, there you go. You can see. How cute. It just goes slowly and gently. And now remember, I'm going to put the other insert behind this. And I'm just going to use the dull side of my weeding tool and hold down the elements that I want to make sure stay in place. And I'll just weed out that excess. There we go. And I am going to take off just a couple of them that stayed behind, but I'm going to go ahead and pop those off. And so see, look how cute that is. That's gonna look like snow. And so now what I want to do is I want to go in and pop out all the rest of these. Okay, so I just finished getting all the little dots out, and I'm gonna go ahead and put in my insert. Now guys, I hope you will stick around and join me for my next video where I'm going to teach you how to write on the inside of your Cricut Joy card. So you'll be able to put a message on the outside and the inside. I'll see you in the next video.